Hmm? Nah. Good evening, guys.
Good evening, sir.
So, how are you people? So, in this session, I think first class I am having on Wednesday, correct? And no other class on Wednesday, it seems. Very less participant has joined, it seems also. So, Wednesday, usually you people do not have any class because it is allotted to project, correct? Or you people
Yes,
have
sir.
class on Wednesday?
No, sir, we don't have.
Okay, very good. Okay, so we'll start now. So can anyone summarize actually what we have learned in last class about neural network? Who is going to summarize?
Sir, we try to understand ANN, artificial neural network,
Yeah.
that is based on biological neural network, such as brain. It is not a new concept, but it is from 1943. And single layer network is called perceptron. That consists single multiple input, weight, one neuron, and one output. Then we learned about nodes and activation function. There are three types of nodes: input, hidden, and output. And there are several activation functions, but we learn about binary, linear, ReLU, sigmoid, and tanh. Then we learn how neural network works in forward direction and reverse direction to calculate the weight.
Very good, Rajnikant. Just a minute. Very good, Rajnikant. So Rajnikant has explained this or Prem has explained this? Who has explained this?
Rajnikant.
Very good. Very good. So today what we are going to have learn is gradient descent algorithm, and then also we are going to see back propagation. How this concept of back propagation. We are not going to learn detailed math because that is hefty actually. It includes heavy math. So, but what we are going to learn is what is the concept behind it, and then in next class we are going to learn we are going to see case study. So what I have asked you people to go and see how to install Keras. How many of you have looked how to install Keras? Because that we are going to use to run our case study. So anyone have tried to do it? Try to install that package? No. So do this actually. You install. You go to Keras page and follow instruction how to install it. Okay. It may be now what I can see is Tensor. You have to install TensorFlow, something called TensorFlow 2, and Keras is part of TensorFlow now. Initially, Keras was not part of TensorFlow, but backend TensorFlow was running. But now what I can see is Keras is part of TensorFlow. So you have to go and install TensorFlow 2. Once you install that, we can use that API to run our deep learning module or ANN module actually. So what is the difference between deep learning and simple artificial neural network? Where the difference to me? Pardon?
Hidden layer is more than 8.
Correct. Actually, hidden layer. So the number of hidden layer is more and more actually in deep learning. correct? And that is the beauty of deep learning. So there are more number of hidden layers. Okay, so we'll start with today. We'll start with gradient descent and then back propagation. These two topics we'll learn. So it is going to be quick class today, not have much theory. But next class we are going to have case study based on the theory what we have learned so far. Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I read somewhere that TensorFlow need a minimum 8 GB of RAM.
No, I don't think it's. I have used. Okay, it may be my that laptop also 8 GB RAM. So if it's
And
so, I will check.
if we install less than 8 GB RAM, then laptop might crash.
Okay, so then what we can use it? We'll use Google Cobalt actually. So that provide you the GPU free of cost. I will just check. Okay, I will let you know before Friday. Okay, so you don't have to install it in your local machine. So what we so Google provide a platform, so we can use it directly their machine and run our case study. Okay, so that will be something like notebook. Have you ever worked with notebook, Jupyter notebook?
Yes, sir.
So that provided notebook. So we'll run our algorithm in Google Colab. Okay. But let me check actually. Is it mandatory to have 8 GB RAM for TensorFlow? So last class we have seen that all input in neural network connected with neuron, and then neurons are also connected with other neuron, and the way the connection is associated with some weight. Okay, and then we have seen actually how this back propagation and forward propagation work and adjust weight accordingly to reduce the error. But the thing is how to estimate weight actually. One way to get the weight is using brute force method. Okay, what is brute force method? Anyone know what is brute force method? No? So basically what you have to do is we have to create different values of weight randomly or different combination of weight randomly, and then for every combination we go and check that what is the objective function. Okay, so randomly you go, let's say you are going to have let's say you have a function y equal to a x plus or mx plus c, let's say the linear function mx plus c, then you have two weights actually, m and c, correct? So idea of optimization is to get the weight A and C. So first what you have to do it, you have to define objective function. So let's say you are interested to minimize the error. Okay, so minimize the mean square error. So what you have to do? So you go and create different values of A and M. Sorry, M and C, na? Mx plus C. So you have to go and create different value of M and C. And every time you go and check with this value of M and C, how these functions are changing actually. How much error do you have? Okay. So every time you go and check these values. So that is called brute force method. But that will not work when you have large dimension of input actually. Okay, that's why people start using optimization method to get such weight. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So can you? I heard some noise actually, background noise. Any comment or anything? No, na. Okay, so there is a method called brute force method, where you have to go and sample your decision variables, and then you pass it through the objective function, and then you see exactly how this objective function and are going. If you are interested to get the minima, so you choose the weight which is giving weight which is giving you minimum objective function. Okay, objective. So every time you have to go and check objective function which gives you minimum, that will be your weight. So that is the brute force method. But what happens is this method will not work when you have large number of input. Okay, so because you have to create lots of combination of input, and computing that is not easy task. It requires lots and lots of computational power. That's why people come up with something called optimization approach to get such weights. And one of this is gradient descent. So gradient descent is so how many of you have ever seen an optimization formulation? How many different types of optimization problems? I think you all people have heard this optimization because you are doing sand optimization, you are doing parameter optimization, all the thing you do. But how many of you have ever seen a optimization problem, formulated optimization problem? Then only you will appreciate the concept. Otherwise, it will be like. So, how many of you have seen this optimization problem? So, minimizing something, minimizing function f of x.
Sir, in linear regression.
Yeah, so linear regression, you have seen that optimization formulation, correct?
Yes, sir. For calculating the value of M and C.
So, what is decision variable?
So that I don't know.
M and C is decision variable, na? So that is you say that minimize function f of x, comma theta, and theta is nothing but M and C. Okay, and theta is the decision variable, correct? So there are usually correct. This is correct, na? So M and C are decision variables for your linear regression problem. Okay. So that is simple actually. So if you have linear regression problem, So you know what is the closed form solution of linear regression problem? Do you know what is that? So let's say you have something y equal to theta transpose of x. So how to estimate theta hat? Can anyone tell? So these are the basic question actually people ask in interview actually. What is closed form solution? How to find the parameters of linear regression? One is you just dump something on your software and software will return something and you have to be happy actually. Another thing is you see that how software is giving you something. Sometimes maths are complicated to understand, but sometimes it is easy also to understand. So what I suggest you concept like linear regression and all, you should have be very through. So if anyone asks any question in linear regression, I think you should be in position to answer all those. Correct. So if you have a small data set and you are solving a linear regression problem, and problem like y equal to theta transpose of x, and theta is also n-dimensional vector associated with n-dimensional input. Okay, so theta can be computed at x transpose of x x transpose of x inverse x transpose of y. Okay, this is we call it closed form solution to get the theta. Okay, parameters. Theta is nothing but the parameter or weight associated with each and every input. Okay, you are writing like y equal to theta 1 x1 or w1 x1 plus w2 x2, like wn xn, like that you are writing now. So that only I wrote it in vector form, y equal to theta transpose of x. Theta transpose is nothing but your w1 w2 all this, and theta hat, which is estimated parameter, is equal to x transpose of x inverse x transpose of y. So this we should actually be very through of all this actually. Whenever any people ask, you should answer all this. Okay, so when you have a smaller data set now, you don't have to be like use gradient descent and all. You can use actually you can use closed form solution and get your parameter actually weight. Okay, but anyway, so the another way, if you don't want to use your closed form solution, you use gradient descent approach to get the theta. Okay, that is another approach to get theta. So gradient descent, it says optimization algorithm to find the local minima of a differentiable function. So if function is not differentiable, we cannot use gradient descent. So which algorithm which algorithm we will use? Then you have to go for gradient free optimization. Okay, so there are class of optimization, which problem when you have to use, that are all you have to understand. Okay, when functions are not differentiable, you have to go with gradient free optimization. Okay, so gradient descent was originally proposed by Cauchy in 1847, and it is also known as steepest descent. So this algorithm they proposed in 1847 only. So what gradient actually measure is what is the change in weight with regard to change in error. So what gradient it says what is df by dw actually. So it says that just a minute. So Gradient is nothing but slope actually. You just think it gradient is slope. So it say what will be the change of x. Sorry, what is change of y when you change x. So that is del y by del x actually. And that they call it gradient. So basically in y we have function which is cost function, and x we have weight. So we are seeing that what is the change of error with when you change your weight, and that is gradient actually. So higher the gradient, the steeper the slope and faster model can learn. So you can see it in graph actually. Next graph. So let's say this is so in x-axis you can plot your cost function. Sorry, in y-axis you can plot your cost function, basically how your cost changes with change of weight, and x-axis you plot your weight. Okay. So how this gradient descent works, it works in two steps actually. First of all, you have to estimate the gradient. So gradient is nothing but the first order derivative of the function at that point. So you are defining an objective function, correct? You have to minimize some objective function. Minimizing this function. And we are calling this as a f. So minimize f. So since you are interested to minimize f, you have to get the gradient of f. So with respect to decision variable. Okay. And then what you have to do, you have to make a step move in the direction opposite to gradient. So next, so let's say you have to start, you are at this point, black point actually. Okay. And where that minima is occurring? At the bottom of this ball. Correct. So you are at this point on top. You have to move at bottom of this. So first what you have to do is, first at this black point you have to go and get the gradient. Okay. And from this you have to come down using this wi plus 1 equal to wi minus alpha dw by dw. Okay. df by dw. So this is the way we move from point A to lower point. And alpha is a learning rate actually. So it says that in every step actually, how much down you will come. So there are lots of theory behind how to select alpha and all. So you cannot keep bigger alpha, because if you keep bigger alpha, it may happen that you will miss minima. You cannot keep smaller alpha, because it may happen that your learning rate will be very slow and it will take lots of time to reach minima. Okay, lots of iteration it will take to reach minima. So have you understood how this gradient descent works? First of all, you have to go and get the gradient at particular point, and then you have to move it towards the opposite direction of gradient using this formula wi plus 1 equal to wi minus y minus, because you are moving away from the slope. Minus is opposite direction of your gradient, dw by df by dw. So this is the way you have to take and come to the minimum point. So this is the crux behind the gradient descent algorithm, and this is very popular algorithm and different form of gradient descent used in neural network. So we'll see what is the another form actually. So in gradient descent optimization, we compute the cost gradient based on the complete data set. So we use complete data set to complete training data set. Okay. And this is called a batch gradient descent. But what happens when you have larger data set? This solution is called costly solution because computationally it is heavy. So alternate to do this is stochastic gradient descent actually, where at a time only one randomly it will select only one observation and update the weight actually accordingly. So basically concept is same actually. Crux of all this is gradient descent, but there is another form of gradient descent that is called stochastic gradient descent, and there are not these two only, there are multiple. Another is called mini batch gradient descent, and there are much more actually. I can see there are 5 or 6 at least gradient descent approaches exist actually, and the and objective of all this is to improve the computational power and also the accuracy, and also resolve the edge cases associated with different networks, and same time with different what you call activation function. So any algorithm, if any algorithm develop, either they develop because they want to increase the computational power, or they want to uh, or they want to what you call say either they want to increase the computational power, or they want to handle some edge cases associated with other algorithm. Okay, so that's why there are multiple gradient descent and people are still developing it. Any doubt?
Sir, then, what will be the ideal value for alpha if we cannot choose very high and if we cannot choose very small?
You can use 0.01 actually, but there are methodology to choose alpha. Usually I used to take 0.01 actually.
Okay.
I will not say this is the benchmark actually. And it works for me, but what happened with some problem actually, it may have, you have to keep a smaller or larger one. There are lots of guidelines to choose alpha, and that also iteratively also you can tune it and see how that cost function are changing actually. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
But you cannot choose larger alpha actually, like 1 or 2, because you may it may happen that your step is too high. You instead of going to a minima value, you miss your minima and reach to some other point actually. Okay.
Okay.
So that's why there is a trade-off between these two. Either if you take very small, it will take lots of time to lots of iteration to reach minimum. Okay, so already we have seen this algorithm actually, back propagation, forward propagation and back propagation, but I will again tell you, because you have learned this gradient descent, and then I'll tell you this also, so that our exercise will be completed. So what we have done in forward propagation, so input from the input layer, information is transferred to first hidden layer, and then in hidden layer what will happen is it transforms with your input, weighted sum of your input will transform through the activation function, and then that information or that number will go to the another hidden layer and will reach to output layer. Correct? See, this is the forward propagation. output layer, and in output layer it will go and match with actual output, and then that error will now transmitted it through this layer, and that weight are adjusted accordingly, and that is called back propagation. And that is the this is the algorithm actually which bring back neural network again. Okay, otherwise the neural network was like sleeping. See, back propagation algorithm was originally introduced in 1970. Okay, 1970 itself they have introduced this back propagation algorithm. But 16 years no one had paid much attention, but these three guys actually published a paper and demonstrated actually different types of neural network and used back propagation to update the weight actually. Okay, so then this algorithm become very famous and now part of the neural network. Okay, so how these weights are getting updated? There are heavy math behind it, but I have just noted it down into 7 points. Okay, so initially what you have to do is you have to initialize the weight to a small number close to 0 but not 0. So you have to start algorithm now. So what you have to do is first you have to initialize your weight. So to start your algorithm you have to initialize your weight. So weight has to be close to 0 but not 0. If it is 0 means there is no connection. So we have to start with some values. Okay. Then input the first observation of your data set in the input layer, and each feature is one input node. Understood this statement? So what you have to do is now you have to give one observation through your input node. So what it will do is it will propagate through your hidden layer. It will go to your output layer and it will go and match your output. Okay, actual output, and error is again get propagated and then weight get adjusted. Okay, and what this forward propagation is telling you same thing actually. From left to right, neurons are activated in way that the impact of each neuron activation is limited by weight, propagate the activation. Same thing actually, what I have told you, it's written the same. And compare predicted output with actual output and get error, correct? Same thing. And back propagation. So it will go and compare the output and then based on the error, that weight get adjusted. And you have to repeat point number 1 to point number 5 and update the weight after each observation or after a batch of observation. Whether you are doing gradient descent or stochastic gradient descent, based on this, you have to do updates. So there is one concept called epoch actually. So when you go and see, when we train neural network, so you have to pass how many epoch actually. So it says that how many iteration actually. So you want to calculate error actually. How many times you want to calculate error, and that iteration is called epoch in neural network. Okay. Any doubt? So back propagation already I have shown you in the case when I was teaching you this thing, perceptron, correct? And that I've just noted down step-wise step things. Okay. So you also have to midterm exam now. When it will be? So when do you have midterm exam?
Yeah, so Himanshu here. Vijayanta. So midterm actually, like you can schedule as per when you want you can schedule the midterm. So for this actually there is no official midterm. There is a one end sem examination will be there, and in between you need to conduct maybe you need to give some assignments and one or two quiz whatever it is, because 40 number will come from their this internal, and internal will include mid-sem, quiz, assignment, whatever way you want to grade them.
So since I took so Himanshu, so what I'm going to take is I am going to give case study. Actually, people have to come with model. Okay. So mostly my concept is people should know exactly how to develop a model from a given data set or how to analyze the data. Okay, so that is the whole idea. So what I will give in term of midterm exam, I will share a data set and ask participants to get insight from the data. Okay, or develop model also, if possible. So that will be good practice for their project also.
Right.
So just I'm thinking actually when shall I take it.
Yeah. So maybe after the class also again I can brief you on this process mid-sem and the quiz, so you can schedule accordingly.
Okay. So I'll give at least 24-hour time for this exam actually. Okay. It will
Okay.
be take home exam,
Correct.
but same time if they cheat, they will both will get good actually. Anyway, that we will discuss actually. And okay. So next class, what we are going to do is we are going to build a artificial neural network. We are going to solve some case study. So before that, what you people have to do, you have to install Keras actually. Let me check actually. Can you see this Keras? Can you see my browser?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is Kira official website. You have to look how to install Keras. Okay. And then install it. I think someone was asking now how to that it required 8 GB RAM. So I have to check actually. I will confirm you before Friday what we have to do. Okay, I will just check actually how much RAM and all required for this. Okay, so I will check system requirement and get back to you. You people also try to see.
Through
Okay.
Anaconda, sir. Through Anaconda Navigator, there is a way to install the package, sir.
Yeah,
Keras and TensorFlow.
correct. Yes. But why? What I think is now you don't have to install Kira separately. Initially, it was like first you have to initially when Kira were developed, So first you have to install TensorFlow or Theano, and then you have to install Keras actually. But what I have seen it today, you have to just install TensorFlow 2, and that includes Kera actually. So I don't think you need two. So just I will also check actually. I think they have made some changes here and there. I will also look into it and let you know before Friday. Okay. But make sure coming Monday you should have this thing in place. Either we are going to use Google Colab, then you should have that notebook handy with you, or if we are going to install it in local machine, I will see system requirement and let you know also. Okay, and the installation approach also I will let you know. Earlier I have installed it in Anaconda also, so the Anaconda is not an issue. You can install it anywhere. Either you can use Conda Manager or PIP, so no issue actually. I have to just check system requirement. Okay. Okay, for today this is we have done. So we'll meet on Monday. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And then I will also look for data set and share data for midterm exam. Okay, boss. Bye. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.